When it comes to cookies, cakes, and really anything that's baked in the US, I'm personally not the biggest fan, and here's why. Hallo, Servus, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Felicia. I'm originally from Munich, Germany, but have been living here in Cincinnati, Ohio, off and on since 2016. And this is the 7th and last episode of my mini-series about random differences between Germany and the US. Definitely make sure to check out the other episodes as well. You'll find the links in the info box below. I've talked about how Germans pee differently, about oil changes on cars, cats and declawing, male circumcision, the fascination with jawlines, and German versus American ice cream. And today's video is gonna be a little similar to that one because we'll talk about another food topic. So this is something that Germans, and I think most Europeans, notice pretty quickly when they come to the US, but there's one story in particular that I think brings the point home. So when I got my master's at the University of Cincinnati, a fellow grad student and I hosted a weekly German Stammtisch, like a happy hour to focus on casual conversations. And we had a budget to buy some snacks, so we got some big bags of chips and a big bowl of cookies from the store and brought that to the Stammtisch every week. And one day, the other girl who was American said, "We need to get new cookies." And I was like, "Oh, are they all gone?" And she said, "No, they're just really stale." So I checked them out. They still smelled good, so I took a bite and was like, "What? They're not stale. They're crispy. They're perfect, actually." So I ended up taking them home for myself because they tasted just right to me. And that's really the main statement of this video. In Germany, most baked goods, whether that be bread, cookies, cakes, or other pastries, have a little more bite to them compared to what you usually get in the US. The main thing that all Germans and other Europeans always complain about is American bread. If you've ever seen a European shop for bread in an American store, you know the deal. We'll just walk around and touch every pack of bread to see how squishy it is. And most of it is really just like toast, which in Germany we wouldn't even call bread. Toastbrot, yes, but that's not the same as just Brot, bread, or even better, Brötchen, bread rolls. And whether it's rolls or a full loaf, it needs to have a crispy crust on the outside while it's soft in the inside. And it's really hard to go from Germany, where we have bakeries with a huge selection of freshly baked bread products in every store and at every other corner, to toast. And before people start commenting, "You can find that in the US if you look for it." Yes, I know, you can find anything if you look for it, but the bread that you're mainly surrounded with here is just different. But today I want to focus more on sweet things, so cookies, cakes, and pastries, because Germany doesn't only have a big bread culture, we also have a big pastry culture. We actually have our own meal or ritual dedicated to it. It's called Kaffee und Kuchen, coffee and cake, and it's like the German equivalent to British tea time, so it typically takes place in the afternoon. And it's not like all Germans eat cake every day at 4 p.m, I wish, but it is pretty common. Like when you have guests over, it's often for Kaffee und Kuchen, especially on Sundays, or if you go to a cafe, you can usually get cake there as well. I mean, you can get cake at every bakery even, and they have amazing selections usually, but even with cakes and cookies or even muffins, they usually have some bite as well. Like a lot of cakes have crusts, or at least a solid bottom, or we also like to bake fruit into the cake batter or other things to give it some texture. American cakes are pretty different compared to that. They're usually pretty soft, rather moist, don't have a crust, and then they usually have a frosting on top, which means that they're covered in even more soft stuff and some food dye in a lot of cases. Whereas in Germany, we like to put something solid on top, like crumbles or a hard glaze. And chewy cookies aren't really a thing in Germany either. A cookie has to be crunchy, whether that's one of our many traditional German cookies or even what's sold as American-style cookie. They're crunchy. I'm not even sure if I've ever seen an American-style chewy cookie in the German stores. Let me know if you have, because I feel like that has to be at least an option, but in the US there's always both options, chewy or crunchy, and I feel like chewy is even the more common and more popular option here. But to me and a lot of other Germans, that's really just like a half-baked cookie almost. Don't get me wrong, I do enjoy one of those warm, oven-fresh chocolate chip cookies that are still all soft and have some liquid chocolate in the middle, like you can get them at some restaurants. But when they're cold, I definitely prefer a fully baked crispy cookie. I know this may sound a little snobby, like, oh, you Americans don't know how to do it, right? But to me as a German, most of the baked things I've eaten in the US tasted like someone took them out of the oven too early. I don't know if Americans in Europe feel the other way around, like things are overbaked. I mean, that would make sense, so let me know what your experiences are with that. And don't get me wrong, I haven't hated every baked good I've eaten in the US, but sometimes I definitely felt like it would have been better if they had given it another 10 minutes in the oven. And the funny part is that in my family, I'm actually known as the one who likes everything soft. Like, my family often puts bread rolls or pretzels, especially on the second day when it's not super fresh anymore, on top of the toaster or into the oven again before they eat it to crisp it up, which I just learned is the very fitting English translation for aufbacken, and I'm the only one in my family who doesn't want it any more crispy usually. And still, I find American baked goods too soft. It's like with me and the sweetness in the US, I'm known as the person who likes it really sweet, and most of my German friends always thought that the way that I drink my coffee or something was way too sweet, and I never got it. But then I came to the US, and for the first time in my life, I experienced what it means when something is too sweet. I never even understood how that's possible before. Now, of course, this is all a generalization. There's a large variety of cookies, cakes, and pastries in both countries, but overall, this is something that I've found to be different. And it's so interesting to me that even though we do eat the same things in the two countries, like we do eat bread, we do eat cake, we do eat cookies, the taste preferences of Germans versus Americans seem to be pretty different. And I wonder where that comes from, so if you know more about that, let me know in the comments below. And of course, I'd like to hear what you think about this topic. What do you prefer? Soft and half-baked, or baked really well and crispy? Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and for watching. This was the last episode of my Random Differences mini-series. I really hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. It was a nice change compared to my usual longer and more in-depth videos, and I really loved reading all of your comments and answers to my questions. It was really helpful. If you liked this video and the series, let me know by hitting the thumbs up button and by subscribing to my channel if you're not a subscriber yet. If you want to see more behind the scenes content from me, you can also follow me on social media, and I'll see you next time with a normal video again. Tschüss!